Now, I'm Srishti Sharma. With me is Kanishka Sarkar, and you're catching us live from the SBI Live studios. And on the big global exclusive on ET Now, Jefferies Chris Wood shares his outlook on India-US trade deal. Says that the Indian markets could rally sharply once it is finalized. Adds that the dollar will start correcting soon, and the AI capex theme will sustain. Let's go across and listen in.
Well, that's just one of several recent signals that the U.S. side is obviously trying to come in more conciliatory relative to a deal. So my guess is that, we should get some resolution on this issue in the next few weeks and months.
How do you look at the entire Trump tariff scenario? I think the world or equity strategists were blindsided. They didn't expect Trump to go through with the tariff. Where do you see this entire episode taking us from a global trade point of view?
Oh, right. No, you're absolutely correct. We all knew that Donald Trump's always been obsessed with tariffs. To be fair to Donald Trump, he's always said he's going to do the tariffs. But I have to admit, most people thought, including myself, that he wasn't going to be as aggressive as he has proved to be in some cases. There's no way I ever expected 50% tariffs in India, for example. Donald Trump's view is that the exporters will eat the tariffs. Most economists argue that the tariffs will end up being paid by the American consumers. My own view is that Donald Trump and most of his supporters actually believe the exporters will pay the tariffs. But in my view, the longer these tariffs are in place, the more inevitably the negative consequences will show up, both in terms of American consumers having to pay more and just negative for the whole economy, for economies everywhere, because in my view, I think what we were taught in the economic textbooks, that tariffs are beggar thy neighbor policies, will prove correct. But it's worth highlighting, as in Japan last week, and in Japan actually so far, Donald Trump will be pleased to see that the exporters are eating the tariffs, because the Japanese car makers have cut the prices by at least 15% for the tariffs. So one wants to be aware of that point.
But it's also leading to global repercussions. In Japan, you had the Prime Minister resigning because of the kind of trade negotiations he ended up doing with the U.S.
Well, that's right. The Japanese were remarkably passive, and basically it's not clear what's actually been agreed, but what the U.S. side said was initially agreed that the Japanese had agreed to invest $500 billion in America, and the U.S. will take 90% of the profits and the Japanese only 10%. Clearly, the Japanese are normally very polite in public, but they pushed back. But this clearly is not a good look from the standpoint of a Japanese Prime Minister. And the contrast with the Japanese passive approach and the Chinese hardline approach is very dramatic.
And between Japan and China, I think India is somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, India is somewhere in the middle, but obviously the Chinese hadn't used this bargaining chip until this year. They could have done this at any time since the controls on China buying U.S. semiconductors were introduced by the Biden administration. That was a very aggressive policy by the U.S. In fact, I just view it as a declaration of economic war against China, as indeed do the Chinese. But this year, the Chinese have applied the rare earth leverage. And they basically said, if you don't let us buy semiconductors, we won't let you buy rare earths.
So where does it leave the entire global leadership? It's all about narrative setting, right? Today, Trump is setting the narrative. He's taking, and that's creating problems for many countries or politicians in their respective countries. How do you manage Trump narrative?
Yeah, so actually, I think the lesson from China is it pays to stand up to Donald Trump. Because we are in the ironic situation where I'll give the example of Europe. The European leadership rushed to see Mr. Trump at his golf course in Glasgow to agree a deal, which was definitely not very good for Europe, where we have the ironic situation that the tariff hikes have been suspended on China, and Mr. Trump is desperately trying to arrange a meeting with the Chinese president. and the Chinese president so far playing hard to get.
The biggest thing is that you have the biggest uncertainty in terms of tariffs. A lot of S&P 500 companies have exports coming from overseas, and these tariffs are impacting them in some way. But we still see the U.S. markets running up. Do you think that U.S. market have peaked, or do you still see a big runway for them?
No, the U.S. market's not running on the tariff story. The U.S. market's running on the AI theme and what I call the AI capex arms race. That's actually been the key theme. So actually the US stock market's not really got much to do with tariffs, and the economy is all about this AI capex theme.
All right, so that's the word coming from Chris Wood about Indian markets, the rest of the emerging markets, and also the AI capex theme and a lot more. But then let's get started with this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now, a show where we'll take all your stock-specific queries with our experts. And today we are joined by G. Chokalingam, the founder and head of research at Economics Research, and also Hemant Kaparia, technical associate at DRChoksey FinServ. Requesting our viewers to keep sending in their queries. Don't forget to mention your name, your stock name, your specific query, your holding time horizon, and we'll get your queries answered. The number is flashing on your screen, so do send in your queries. So let's get started then. So the first query is coming from Rajesh. Mr. Chokalingam, let me come to you for this one. He wants to know, is Brigade Enterprises a good buy at the current price? He's looking for a 1 to 2 year perspective. What is your view? How are the fundamentals looking for Brigade Enterprises?
Yeah, it's seems to be a good stock. All the realty stocks are rallied, including Brigade, but most of them have corrected anywhere from 10% to as much as even 40%. Brigade also corrected, and post-correction, it is one of the couple of the cheapest realty stocks. And also management is making a lot of aggressive initiatives to diversify value-added services related to realty. So therefore, I believe Brigade is a good realty stock for medium to long term.
All right, the next query that we have is coming in from Ignitis from Kolkata, and he's writing to us to know about Canara Bank. He says that he has 708 shares in the portfolio from a price of just 107 rupees. Has been holding it for quite some time now, but what's the long-term outlook on this one? Mr. Chokalingam, once again a query to you, because he's looking for a fundamental outlook on this one. So need your help regarding this.
Yeah, it is a good stock. We have a coverage and we have been recommending it. And immediate trigger would be, the IPO from two of its ventures, insurance and AMC. That also would act as a trigger. And PSB, Public Sector Bank as a whole, including Canara Bank, they have been doing well in retaining low-cost deposits. And Canara Bank price to adjusted book value also very attractive. So I would, keep continuing my recommendation of hold on Canara Bank. So another even 10% return is possible in the short term itself.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Canara Bank. But moving on to the next query then. This one is coming from RK Ahuja. They want to know about Adani Enterprises. They have 40 shares of Adani Enterprises. They bought them around 6 months back. They want to know whether they should continue to hold or should switch into something like an Adani Power or a railway stock or a defense stock. Hemant, let me come to you for this one. They've been holding it for the past 6 months. They want to know, should they continue to hold for, say, another 6 months, or should they switch to some other stock?
Very good morning to you, Kanishka. Thank you for having me on the show. I think both the options make sense. Adani Enterprises is now looking set for a recovery. 2421 is a level to watch out for. I believe this level could be taken out either this week or max next week, assuming the markets remain positive. So then we can see a decent upside. Obviously, it hasn't done much. It's a slow-moving stock. On the other hand, something like a railway would make sense because they've had a deep correction. Nothing much to lose. They bounced back from good support. So frankly speaking, both are viable the way I see it. Maybe railway stocks have more momentum and they do probably better if compared to Adani Enterprise from a medium-term point of view.
The take coming in on Adani Enterprises, but with regards to one of the other Adani counters, Hemant, help us with your take on Adani Total Gas as well, because this query is coming in from Abhijit from Patna. He's holding 46 shares. His average price is 681 rupees. What's your overall take coming in on Adani Total Gas? Good afternoon.
Okay, hi, Cecily. It hasn't done much. We've spent almost 2 years now. It made a high of 1200 plus somewhere in 23. Since then, lower top, lower bottoms, frankly speaking, hasn't done much. Nothing good to look. Nothing compelling at this current point of view. Yes. On the other hand, it doesn't look as if it's going to go down much, but I'd suggest a switch. Not fair to compare, but I think something like Adani Power looks relatively better than a Total Gas.
Okay, so that's the view on Adani Total Gas. But moving on to the next query then, this one is coming on KFinTech and Vari Energies. The viewer wants to know, they have their buying price is 1,058 for KFinTech, and for Vari it is 3,215 rupees. They want to know, can they hold these two stocks for a one-year time frame? How are the fundamentals looking like? Mr. Chokalingam, what do you think, KFinTech and Vari Energies?
I would give a sell call on Vari Energy if there is any further rise, because almost every week we are seeing one new company either formed, or one new company raising resources, or one new company getting listed in the secondary market within this new energy space. This whole space is going to get squeezed on margin because of the heavy competition intensity. So any further rise, I would give a sell. KFin Technology, one can hold for very long term. Short to medium term, one may not get a significant return because all strong growth outlook is in price. But somebody has a view beyond 2 years, probably this is a good to hold.
That's the take coming in on both of these counters. But now we also have a live caller with us, and since the time I used to do this show, we always have Sunny, who is indeed a regular viewer of our show. And hi, Sunny. Good afternoon. Good to be speaking with you. Go ahead. We have Himain as well as Mr. Chokalingam to guide you on your stock query today.
Hello, good afternoon to you. I bought recently 800 shares of Marico at 733, and now we have this news of the income tax sale. Should I know, or can I know whether I should hold on to this share or should I sell it?
Oh yeah, that's the query coming in on Marico. Some of the reports are highlighting this, but Mr. Chokalingam, how do you see this in the light of the fundamentals of the company? Though there are some negative news flow around, but given that the GST rate rationalization could be at play and Marico overall is seen to be transforming its portfolio, what's your take on this counter?
Yeah, it has done reasonably well on the market also. I believe the good news in terms of GST reform is in price, because it trades around 55 PE. From the bottom also it has recovered a lot. And when you see the annual revenue figure from 2023, there is not much strong double-digit growth in terms of revenues. So therefore, I would give a sell call in case the stock improves another 5-10% from the current level.
Okay, so that's the fundamental view for Marico. But Mr. Kapadia, let me come to you as well. What do you think are the charts suggesting for Marico? Do you think there could be some upside in the coming, say, 6 to 8 months?
Well, it's been relatively closeted, Kanishka. If you look at the charts for the last, six months or so, we've been in a range between 750 and 680. Nothing particularly going for it till we give a weekly closing above 750. We've made multiple attempts. Couple of them have been at 745, couple at 750 plus. So till we don't take out 750, nothing going to happen. Now because of this news of the rates, there is near-term pressure. So I don't see anything exciting, but yes, it can come down till 680. That's where the strong support. So I don't see it going anywhere, honestly.
All right, that's the fundamental as well as technical take coming in on Marico. We'll watch out for that. But with this, it's time now to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. As we come back, we will take more of the stock-related queries. Stay tuned and keep writing to us.
construction equipment. He's looking for a long-term investment. He wants to put in 2 lakh rupees in this stock. Mr. Chokalingam, what do you think? How are the fundamentals looking like for Action Construction Equipment? He's looking to invest 2 lakh rupees. So do you think it's worth putting that kind of money into?
Yeah, it's a decent construction company with quite good credible track record. Stock price also corrected a lot. Of course, after substantial correction, still trading at around 30p on trailing earning. But considering the track record, I would give a hold recommendation for 1 to 2 year. Definitely anywhere 15-20% return is very much possible.
Right, so that's the take coming in on Action Construction. But the next query that I have is actually coming in on Vedanta. And Himin Deepak from Dubai is holding 600 shares of Vedanta. His average price is 308 rupees. Today is going to be an interesting day on the fundamental side because the company does have its NCLT meeting for the demerger process of the subsidiaries. But saying that, how is the chart shaping up for Vedanta? Because the stock has been flirting with that 450 to 600 band. Where do you see the stock headed?
Excuse me. Srishti, it's been almost 4 months between 420 and 475. The bias is clearly positive. The metal index has given a breakout. So, okay, yeah, demerger thing would change things, I think, positively. But the metal index is positive, it's given a breakout, and Vedanta, it's not on a tear, but it's definitely on a roll, and above 475. I believe further upside is there in the offing. So, and it's been corrective for what? The bigger correction has been on for 1.5 years. Looks good. I wouldn't worry too much, but 475 needs to get taken out.
Okay, so that's the view on Vedanta. But moving on to the next query then. This one is coming from Ekambaria, who's written to us from Hyderabad again. He's a senior citizen and says that he watches our program regularly. Thank you so much for that. But now coming to your query, he's been holding 250 shares of NCC at a price of 224 rupees. Mr. Chokalingam, he's asking whether he should continue to hold or book his losses at the current juncture and instead invest that money into L&T. What would you suggest?
Yeah, I would prefer L&T to NCC. I have studied both. I believe for senior people with conservative approach, L&T is far superior.
L&T over NCC, that's the advice coming in from Mr. Chokalingam. But the next query that I have, Mr. Chokalingam, is on Bank of Maharashtra. This query is coming in from Reena Thomas from Kerala, where she is holding the stock from a price of 64 rupees. She's saying that now that the stock has started moving after a long while, what to do in this one? Is that a hold or exit on rise?
Buy. In fact, on the same channel, we used to recommend around 30-35 level. Of course, we close the call, beyond 65. But nothing to worry. It's I consider Bank of Maharashtra as one of the finest banks, not only in the public sector bank segment, in the entire banking system, because it is one of the couple of banks to have NPA close to 0.2% and the highest CASA ratio, that is highest exposure to low cost deposits, and solid credit growth even in the June quarter, far above industry credit growth. And it's also located in majority of the branches in state of Maharashtra, which is one of the fastest growing states. So therefore, I believe that it's an excellent stock for medium to long term.
That's the view on Bank of Maharashtra. But moving on to the next query then. This one is coming from Arjun, who's writing to us from Kolkata. He's wanting to know about Vikram Solar for a period of 7 to 8 months time frame. What's the crucial range that we are looking at, the target prices that we are looking at for Vikram Solar? Mr. Kapadia, what do you think? Very recent debut on the D Street. What are the charts suggesting could be? What kind of upside could we see from here on for a period of about 7 to 8 months?
Frankly speaking, Kanishka, there's only 3.5 weeks of listed history. Obviously, it's a new listing. So I like to pass the question. There isn't enough data for me to comment on or give you a view. If you take a broad view, the range is between 315 and 405. But once again, I don't think it's very apt for a 3-4 week listing.
Oh yes, this is one of the recent listings on the bourses. But Mr. Chokalingam, we would like to have your take later in the show on this. But before that, it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi who has turned 75 today, and wishes have been pouring in. Let's listen into NSE Managing Director and CEO, Mr. Ashish Chauhan.
Today, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji is celebrating 75th birthday. So I would like to wish him all the best for his future innings and pray to God that he lives for at least 100 and continues to work as hard as he's doing today for next 10-15 years at least, so that India becomes more developed going forward. Since Shri Narendra Modi took over as Prime Minister in 2014, India has seen many decisive activities, be that in defense, be that in foreign policy, be that in foreign relations, in banking system, in financial markets. And so across the country, including Swachh Bharat, and over last 11 years, the world has gone through many tumultuous times, like COVID and other things, and today also tariff situations. But in some ways, India has done exceedingly well. When Mr. Modi took over, India's market capitalization was around 67 lakh crore. Today, it's 450 lakh crores, almost 7.5 times more.
Can buy because the business prospect seems to be quite good for long term. Of course, periodically there is some risk in terms of regulatory intervention, but otherwise long term outlook looks good, and stock also has corrected considerably a lot. So therefore, I would maintain a buy call on Petronet LNG.
Call coming in from Petronet LNG. The next query is for Mr. Chokalingam as well. It's coming from our viewer Krish. He holds LT Foods 259, wanted it at a buy price of 415 rupees per share. Now he's asking for a view for a minimum of 3 years. And so LT Foods, a major player of rice as well, and we've seen what's happened with recently with the rice peer as well. So what is your take when it comes to LT Foods? And he's asking for a view for 3 years. So what's your take there?
Around 26p on trailing basis. I think for this kind of business is a very fair price in my view. In case stock rises by 10%, I would be a seller of this stock on the fundamental basis.
Yeah. All right, so that's the fundamental view on LT Foods. But on that note, we'll take a very short breather here. Be right back with more of your queries to be answered on the other side.
आज आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के 75वें जन्म दिवस पर मैं उनको अपनी हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। और आपका जो सफर रहा है, जर्नी रही, जो आपकी कहानी है छोटे से शहर से लेकर ग्लोबल स्टेज तक, वो बहुत ही ज्यादा इंस्पायरिंग है। इस कहानी में आपका डिसिप्लिन, आपकी मेहनत और अपने देश के प्रति डेडिकेशन दिखाई पड़ता है।
भारत विश्व में अपने लिए एक जगह बना रहा है और इसमें आपका बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। वंस अगेन हैप्पी बर्थडे मोदी जी। आप यूं ही स्वस्थ और खुश रहें और हमें हमेशा इंस्पायर करते रहें।
Wishing you a very happy birthday, sir. हमारे देश के विकास के लिए जो आपने योगदान दिए हैं वो हमेशा याद किए जाएंगे। और इस खुशी के मौके पर हमारी ये प्रार्थना है ऊपर वाले से कि आपको वो लंबी आयु दे।
इतने सालों से आप जैसे विजनरी नेता ने जो अपने देश को मार्गदर्शन दिया है, उस सफर में आप हमेशा सफल रहें। अगेन सर, हैप्पी बर्थडे।
Would like to wish him all the best and hope to continue to support him in working so hard to make our country even greater. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Always the key motto of our company, and we have kept growing over the years at a good pace. And after this IPO, the fund we have raised, we are going to increase the working capital, and at the same pace we will focus on growing ahead in future.
Hi Viraj, good morning. This is Kanishka also joining in. Just wanted to understand if you could quantify this for us and how much growth could we see going forward in the 2 years?
No, so if you see in terms of percentage, we have grown. So if you count as per the percentage, we will continue having a similar growth in our company.
Right, and Viraj, since you're in the jewelry business with gold sitting at an all-time high, any impact you're seeing of surge in gold prices on demand? Are you expecting anything to play out?
Definitely. So when there is a sudden rise in the gold price, there is a certain hold in the purchase from the consumers. But that is due to the price rise. The purchase is not cancelled or stopped. It is just delayed. So once the rate settles down and people accept the ongoing rate, after that again the purchases from the consumer they pick up, and the coming season, I would say, is the festive season, and which is the best season for jewelry industry. So I'm really looking forward that in this season, even if the rates are rising, we are expecting a good business.
All right, so that's about the gold prices and the demand going forward. But Viraj, you serve a very diversified B2B client base as well that spans across the 24 states and 4 union territories with at least 34 corporate clients. What's your roadmap going forward to expand your client base even further?
So like you said, that the company currently has nearly 1,200 customers, out of which nearly 34 are corporate clients, and remaining are standalone stores and wholesalers. So if we see the future plans, Shringar is now associated with a lot of chain stores, and we are just not a vendor for them, we are vendor partners. So so the company has aggressive growth plans. The retailers ahead, our customers have really aggressive growth plans. So we will be a key partner in their growth, and once they grow, we are growing with them hand in hand. And when I talk about the retail stores, Shringar will be focusing on expanding its customer base and increasing more and more customers. And we see a lot of potential in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So with our Shringar opening more regional offices in the future, all over India, looking at the potential the particular region has, we are planning to expand our retailers in 2 tier 3 cities and penetrate deeper in India.
Okay, Viraj, sounding good on that front, but help us understand what the impact could be on your margins of this expansion. Where are your margins headed, and what could be the key triggers for margin expansion going ahead?
So when I talk about margins, Shringar is a company which has always focused on innovation.
So we always, every year, we create new categories in Mangalsutra, new concept. And when we innovate, that innovation fetches us more margins than the routine products. So if we talk about the current year, Shringar launched 24-carat hallmarked Mangalsutras. So if we compare it to the routine Mangalsutras which we sell, we charge a higher making on these categories. So same way, the main, I would say, the main motto we follow to increase our margin is innovation. We want to innovate new and bring new designs, new concepts, which will get us more margins.
All right, so that's about margins, but let's also talk about revenues there, Viraj. Now, Shringar largely generates your revenue from domestic market, with just 1 to 1.5% coming from exports. So, are you looking to, further expand your global strategy? What's that strategy going to be like? How much revenue are you aiming to generate from the exports market going forward?
Definitely, export is a very big market for us. But currently, the product which we are dealing in, Mangalsutra, as you know, this is an Indian, this is a product which is connected to the culture of India. So we have always focused more on India, and the sales which we generate in overseas is through exhibitions when the buyers approach us and the business happens. But with this development, with this IPO, we are going to aggressively develop our export business and increase the number of buyers and customers, and definitely increase our sales and revenue in exports as well.
Okay, and Viraj, while you're talking about your geographical expansion in terms of your presence, what about your operations and their expansion? Because your operations as of now are supported by a single integrated facility in Maharashtra with a 2,500 kilo annual capacity. Are you looking to diversify your facilities as well?
So, jewelry business, if you try to understand, this is a very detailed business which involves designing, a lot of component making, a lot of brainstorming. So we always need a single setup from which we can get the maximum output from it. So Shringar will always have a single manufacturing setup, but we are going to expand it multifold times and increase our production capacity because we see a good rising demand in Mangalsutra in the near future. And as far as numbers concerned, which is predicted, the Mangalsutra market is predicted to rise up to 32,000 crores by 2032. So we are already preparing for that.
Okay, Viraj, thanks for sharing with us your growth outlook, and once again, congratulations on the listing. With that, it's curtains down on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now from Kanishka and the team that put the show together. Thanks so much for tuning in. Markets at Noon is up next.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।